They looked almost lonely. 3 untagged bags bearing all of a 9-year-old boy's most important possessions. But how do you pack for a flight like this? After 5.5 years, Sean Goldman was about to board a plane heading back to the U.S., back to the house he'd called home until his mother abducted him to Brazil.
What was that ride like to the airport?
He was thinking about what kind of plane it is, and he's thinking about how long of the ride it is. There was no resistance, no fighting, never once crying.
For David Goldman, it all seemed so surreal.
I mean, I've been on a one-way mission, a marathon, for over 5 years.
At the Rio airport, a convoy of white vans brought David and Sean out to this private plane chartered by NBC. Before climbing on board, Sean politely shook hands with the pilots, as his dad flashed a thumbs up to the small group of people who'd accompanied them onto the tarmac.
There were a couple of security people, and it was a member of the embassy and myself. And when David and Sean went up that stairs, they both turned around and they waved. And it was very meaningful because Sean, at that moment, had a big smile on his face.
He didn't have to walk up that plane. He could have thrown a tantrum, up the stairs into the plane. But he did it. He's a strong kid. He did it without a tear. And then we began our journey.
At exactly 11:53 a.m. Christmas Eve, the moment this dad had waited so long for. The plane seemed to hurtle into the sky, instantly lifting away years of anguish and stress.
You shot your arms up into the air. What were you thinking at that moment?
We're on our way.
Now, you always said it won't be till the wheels are up on the plane. Was that the moment when you finally realized, yes, I do have my son back?
That was, for that day, the icing on the cake.
As Rio vanished under the clouds, 2 pairs of sneakers seemed to say it all. Father and son, together again. Sean, exhausted by the day's ricocheting events, was soon sound asleep, but his dad was still overwhelmed.
I can feel my body is just exhausted. I'm drained. But I still have the adrenaline going. I mean, my little boy is 5 feet away, sound asleep, peaceful. We're on our way. It's a Christmas miracle.
NBC News' Jeff Rawson, who'd been covering David's story from Brazil, was on the plane.
What's it like to look at him right now on this plane and know you are his guardian? That's it.
I just melt. Such a sweet boy. Still such a warm boy. It's so sad that he had to suffer, even to the very end.
The frantic scene outside the embassy was still haunting David.
I just was praying for it to end, for it to be over.
David would spend much of the 9-hour flight gazing at his son in disbelief. And when Sean complained he was feeling sick, his head aching, his feet freezing, David gently soothed his son. It was an emotional ride for everyone on board. On David's immigration form, where it asks how many family members are traveling with you, the crew had written 1 with a smiley face.
I don't think there was a dry eye on the airplane when the kid came on.
Incredibly, this wasn't the first time Captain Mike Funicello had been on a flight like this. He also piloted the private plane that flew Elian Gonzalez back to Cuba.
It was a lot like this, a lot of teary-eyed people, and very happy. People happy to be together.
Sean stirred only occasionally to peek out from under his hoodie at a movie and to eat French fries for lunch. But when he wasn't resting, David rarely took his eye off his dozing son.
I don't want him to wake up and not look at and know that someone's there for him, that I'm there for him. Although I hope he doesn't sleep the whole plane and then stays awake all night, because I'm exhausted.
Like any kid, Sean was hardly about to miss out on all the fun. Soon he was wide awake, chatting with the pilots up in the cockpit and goofing around with his dad.
Oh, really? You know this means war.
Posing playfully with the pillow he called his arm, Sean was soon sharing secrets with his dad, even engaging in a food fight with Jeff Rawson. As the plane began its descent onto U.S. soil, father and son huddled closely to peer out the window.
There we go, Bubba.
They had touched down. Sean was finally back in America.
Well, listen, guys, I hope you have a very, very happy holiday. Good to see you guys together. It really is.
Thanks.
It's my pleasure to do it.
Our pleasure, Glenn.
Our pleasure to do it.
Oh yeah, we enjoyed it.
All right? Good.
They had traveled 4,300 miles to another continent, to a new life together. But would that plane ride turn out to be the easiest part of their journey? Coming up, a family reconnects. But after all the trauma, David senses an emotional gap.
There's got to be pain hidden in there. I hope he can, in a very short time, open up to me.
When Bringing Sean Home continues.